What we're talking about today is just using common sense to make small adjustments and small caloric differences on a daily basis. Hey guys, Mark McKilley with Live Anabolic, and guess what? I'm going to talk to you about how to burn calories while you sleep. How much easier can it get than that? Stick around. Okay, so while I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm burning calories, right? A lot of people think that you have to be out there exercising, running, lifting weights, doing something really active to burn calories. Well, that's just not true. You have something called your basal metabolic rate, and that is how many calories your body burns just while you're at rest, when your heart rate is at a resting level, okay? And of course, that's what's going on at night too while we're sleeping. So what can we do to improve that as much as possible? And guys, remember, you know, we're always trying to figure out ways to burn more calories or eat healthier, which means take in fewer calories than we burn on a daily basis, eat healthier, increase our hormone levels, things like that. So a lot of people make the mental mistake of thinking you're gonna have to go on a serious hardcore diet. You're gonna cut 1,000, 1,500 calories out of your daily intake. And that's the only way to make a difference, okay? Because you wanna see the results fast. Well, what we're talking about today is just using common sense to make small adjustments and small caloric differences on a daily basis. But guys, when you start adding that up times 30 times a month, and then multiply that by 12 times a year, it really starts to add up. The numbers get really big. So first of all, let me just start by giving you some just real simple math. So when we're sleeping, guys, there's formulas out there that say our bodies burn roughly 4/10 of 1 calorie per pound of body weight. So let's just do some quick math. Let's say you weigh 200 pounds. So 200 times 0.4 means you're burning 80 calories per hour. Multiply that by 8 hours of sleep. Guess what? You burn roughly 640 calories when you go to bed at night if you're sleeping around 8 hours. So keep that in mind as I go through several of these different ideas about how to increase that. Okay, so that little formula I just talked about, the 0.4 calories per pound of body weight, is just a rule of thumb, all right? So that can vary from person to person. So if you have a real slow metabolic rate, you may be burning only 3/10 of a calorie per pound of body weight. Whereas if I have a high metabolic rate, I might be burning a half, 0.5 calories for every pound of body weight. So how do we increase our basic or basal metabolic rate? And there's lots of different ways to do that, you know, throughout the day. So just real quickly, when you put on a lot of fat, your body actually slows down, your metabolism slows down, all right? So just losing body fat will gradually increase your resting metabolic rate, your basal metabolic rate. You know, getting our testosterone levels back up as high as we can naturally will increase our metabolic rate. And of course, if we increase it, it's going to affect it 24 hours a day. It's not just while we're awake. All right, so that metabolic rate is not just burning more calories while you're working out. It's while you're watching TV, while you're sitting in front of the computer, you know, while you're sleeping, okay? So several things you can do to increase your resting metabolic rate will also give you a positive effect at night, all right? And so little things, guys, you know, this YouTube channel has hundreds and hundreds of videos on here that Gary and I have put out over the years, and there is no one best video to watch, all right? So as you go through and just pick up little tidbits of information here and there, you can make small, tiny changes to your life. But guess what? When you start multiplying these itsy bitsy changes times 24 hours a day, times 30 days a month, and then multiply that again by 12 times a year, it really starts to add up. Okay, so this video is about how you increase the number of calories you burn while you're sleeping, all right? And that means we gotta also pay attention to the sleep, what helps us sleep. So there's studies out there I've been reading that suggest that you burn the most calories at night when you're sleeping during your REM sleep. You know, the rapid eye movement portion of your sleep, that's when you're in the really, really deep sleep. All right, so anything we can do to increase that REM sleep and get really good, deep, restful sleep is also going to have the benefit of burning more calories while you're doing that. So several ways to increase your REM sleep, guys, and that is avoid alcohol late at night. Hey, I love alcohol. I drink alcohol. I drink alcohol at night. Sometimes I don't listen to my own advice and I drink it real late at night. But as a rule of thumb, I don't do it very often, okay? So for you guys that are just used to having a late night cocktail or 2 or 3, okay, or an entire bottle of wine, all right, that can potentially really screw up your sleep. So you may fall asleep, okay? And when I'm really, really drunk, when I'm with one of my young buddies and we're partying, all right, I will fall asleep drunk, but I will wake up the next morning after 8 hours exhausted because I'd gotten no REM sleep. The alcohol just totally screwed with that all night long. So keep that in mind every time you want to take a toddy late at night. Okay, and another thing to help with that good, deep REM sleep is to avoid eating late at night, okay? So especially eating, you know, fatty foods and things like that are real hard to digest. So if you, and I tend to do this too, you know, if I get late night hunger binge and I just kind of come in here and I start snacking, you know, especially if I eat the wrong stuff, I will go to bed with a big full stomach, right? It feels good, I go right to sleep, no problem, but guess what? I wake up a couple hours later and I'm just tossing and turning and I'm not getting that good, deep, restful sleep. And of course, because of that, I'm not getting the REM sleep, which means I'm not burning as many calories during my sleep as I otherwise would if I had, you know, if I was really listening to my own advice and avoiding eating late. All right, guys, this is another one that I'm sure a lot of y'all have already thought about before and hopefully have taken care of, and that is just your bed. So, you know, if you're waking up with a sore back or you're tossing and turning and you're feeling uncomfortable, okay, and achy, it may be that your bed is just old or you're not suited for the mattress that you have, okay? So experiment with that. Look into that. You may need to go into, you know, a mattress store and play around with different types of mattresses. Everybody's going to be different, okay? So I can't give you advice right now that, you know, you need to sleep on a firm mattress because I don't know that that's true, okay? But if you're not getting a good restful sleep because your bed is uncomfortable, that's going to affect your REM sleep. And like I mentioned just a minute ago, REM sleep is really important because the more of that you get, the more calories you burn, and also your body produces more of those good hormones during REM sleep. Another thing, guys, you know, I was mentioning hormones a minute ago. You know, remember how great sleep was when you were young? It's been so long ago, I can barely remember it, but it was so fun and so easy. I could sleep anywhere. Try one other thing here, guys. I've been talking about exercise and food and losing fat and those kind of things. Try a supplement if you haven't already. We've got several supplements, but one specifically is targeted for taking at night. It's called Anabolic Reload PM. And it's designed to not only just boost your body's natural production of testosterone, but it also has some really powerful sleep aids in there. And I've been seeing a lot of great feedback, a lot of great reviews, and not only that, but emails from guys saying they love this stuff. So give it a try. I mean, I don't think it's gonna help everybody, especially if you already get really, really good sleep. It probably won't help you that much, but guys, if you think you could benefit from a better, sounder night's sleep, give it a try. We got a ridiculously crazy good money back guarantee. So, you know, if it's not working for you, just let us know. We'll send your money back. And then continuing along that same line, another thing you can do during the daytime when we're awake is, guys, try to get some protein in with every meal, okay? So try not to have a snack or even a meal where it's just a bunch of carbs and fats, okay? So when you throw a bunch of protein in with the meal, it really helps with something called the thermal effect of food, TEF, I think is what it's called. But so when you're eating, especially when you're eating protein, it takes calories to digest that food and then absorb it into your bloodstream, believe it or not. And protein takes the most energy, requires the most calories to digest and absorb versus fat and carbs. And so when you throw that protein in with your carbs and your fats in every meal, it really increases that thermal effect, which means you're burning more calories when you're digesting your food throughout the day. And of course, when you're doing that, guess what? You're increasing your metabolic rate just a little bit, right? But we're talking about just little incremental tricks here and there that we implement day after day, month after month. And guess what? By the end of the year, these little simple things that we're talking about right now might burn off an extra 10 pounds of fat at the end of the year. Dude, that really adds up. And that's in addition to all the other videos where we talk about different ways to burn calories and put on muscle. So guys, tons of little, ideas here. And remember, while you're sleeping, most people don't realize it, but you're burning calories. And another way to burn more calories, guess what, guys? Keep the room cool, all right? I get really hot under the covers, okay? So, I never put on a shirt when I go to sleep. I'm in short pants and no shirt, and I crank the ceiling fan on high, even in the dead of winter, okay? I love it cold. I sleep much better. And guess what? When you're inhaling all this cool air, it requires more calories to warm that air down, okay? And then you exhale the warm air and then you bring in more cool air. So breathing cold air and then of course keeping your body warm, okay? So and I'm not freezing cold under the sheets or anything, but your body is creating heat, okay? Your body wants to stay at a certain temperature, all right, which requires burning calories. And if it's cold in your room, it's just real simple thermodynamics, guys. You have to burn more calories to keep your body at this temperature if it's in a cold room versus a hot room. All right, guys, none of these are big, life-changing, earth-shattering tips or tricks, but little tiny things add up over time, right? And that means if you stick with it and never give up on yourself, eventually you're gonna love the results.